I'm Jenny from the Madison Public Library. Thank you for joining me for today's project, Fall Fabric Painting. For this project, I will show you different ways to stamp patterns on fabric. So for this project, you will need fabric paint and then fabric. You can stamp on anything from tea towels to placemats and napkins, t-shirts, or even on some canvas bags. So let's get started. For the first project, I am using an apple to stamp on my fabric. You want to make sure that you put some cardboard or some heavy paper underneath your fabric to protect your work surface, or in between layers if you're using a t-shirt or stamping on a bag. So I have cut my apple in half and set it down on a paper towel to absorb some of the moisture. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take my fabric paint and a paintbrush and apply paint to my apple and press it onto my fabric. And then you're just going to repeat this process on your fabric, and then with a paintbrush or with this fine tip squeeze bottle, you can go back and add a stem at the end. And with your apple, you could also use some orange paint. And use your apple as a stamp for a pumpkin. And you could go back and just fill in any spots. And I could go back with the paintbrush or the bottle and add some details for a jack-o'-lantern. For the next project, I'm going to be using a leaf. I have a real leaf, and another option is to make a stamp with craft foam. So you can cut the foam by hand, or you can actually use the Cricut machine to cut your foam as well, and I just glued it to a block of wood. So for your real leaf, you're just going to apply fabric paint on the side of the leaf with the veins. And then I'm just going to carefully press that onto my fabric. And peel it off. And you can repeat that process. And for the craft foam, it's the same thing. I'm just going to apply the paint. and press it onto my fabric. For my last project, I used a potato. I cut it in half and then carved each side. So my one half is a pumpkin and the other half I carved the face for the jack-o'-lantern. Again, when you cut the potato, you'll want to set it cut side down on a paper towel to help absorb some moisture before you start stamping. And with my brush, I just apply my fabric paint to the potato. Press it onto my fabric. And keep repeating. And I just fill in some of the bare spots with my paintbrush. And when that's dry, I just went back with some black paint on the jack-o'-lantern and stamped on top of the pumpkin. Then when your fabric, when the paint is dry on the fabric, be sure to heat set the fabric paint per the instructions on the bottle of fabric paint. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please be sure to like and subscribe and follow the library on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and Snapchat.